Today, I'm going to teach you guys what a literary pyramid is and how to create one. I'm going to break down each section of the pyramid as well as give you guys some examples. By the end of this video, you guys will be experts on how to create a literary pyramid, and you'll be able to do your own over the Giver for homework. There are 5 components to a literary pyramid. There is exposition, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. So let's get started. Exposition is our first step in the literary pyramid. Exposition introduces the background information. So it's the introduction to the story or the beginning. So for example, it would be the events, the setting, the main characters they might introduce in this section. For example, if we were to read Little Red Riding Hood, the beginning or the exposition would be that she wears a red cape and that she has a basket of goodies, and then you can tell that the setting is in the woods. The next step in our literary pyramid is the rising action. So the rising action is the series of events that occur after the beginning of the story or the introduction, or the exposition is how it's set in our pyramid. So they are the little actions that happen before the climax, which we'll get to next. So in the Little Red Riding Hood, the rising actions would be the adventures in the wood that she has of like playing with the butterflies, looking at the rocks, her first meeting with the wolf, and then also her in the cabin with the grandma saying, "What big teeth you have." The third component to our literary pyramid is the climax. So this is a big moment in the story. The climax is the part of the story where the tension or the action reaches the highest point. So at this time, I'm going to give you guys a minute with your partner next to you, and you guys get to decide what the climax of Little Red Riding Hood is, and then we'll discuss after. So the climax, you guys did all great. The climax is when the wolf eats Little Red Riding Hood. Some of you might have put when he ate Grandma as well, which these are both really big moments in the story. So what happens after the climax? So on to our fourth component of our literary pyramid. After the climax is the falling action. So this is the moment in the story where the characters decide what do they do after this high point of tension. So what is Little Red Riding Hood gonna do after they get eaten by the wolf? So for example, this would be when the wolf goes to bed after he eats the grandma and Little Red. And then also a falling action would be how the huntsman walks by the house and sees the wolf in the house. So we are finally at our last component of our literary pyramid. The last component is the resolution. Now when you think of the resolution, it's the conclusion of the story. And in most stories, it's a happy ending or the warrior wins it all. But that doesn't mean every story has to have a resolution. Just think about that when you're doing your own literary pyramid. Now for my example with Little Red Riding Hood, it is a happy ending. So the resolution would be how the huntsman kills the wolf and saves the grandma and Little Red Riding Hood, and then they eat their goodies that Little Red had, and then the 3 live happily ever after. So today you guys learned what a literary pyramid is, how to create one, and what each component stands for. So for your assignment, I want you guys to create your very own literary pyramid with the book The Giver. Now I want you guys to include at least 3 rising actions and at least 3 falling actions. Good luck!